Hey guys, we are Sean and Christy. This is Long Long Honeymoon, and today we're coming at you with a great discussion topic for beginners. The top 5 mistakes to avoid on your first RV trip. For you experienced RV travelers, this might be a helpful refresher course.
Yeah, I think it's good for anybody that's about to take a big trip, especially like where you're going to be gone longer than just a few days. I think this is a good one.
And rest assured, we have made all of these mistakes and more. Mistake number 1, not planning your travel route and your stops. And allow me to clarify up front, I would also add not understanding your route.
Yes.
Because if you are a beginner to RV travel and you think traveling in an RV is the same as traveling with a car, it's just not. With an RV, obviously you're typically dealing with a larger vehicle, whether it's a motorhome or a towable rig setup. It's a lot more difficult to maneuver. It's a lot more mentally taxing. Just stopping for fuel, finding places to park when you stop for food, it will be a lot more challenging. And so everything takes a little bit longer. You can't travel as quickly in an RV. So with regard to route planning, I think you need to understand your route, and the route is going to be more challenging than it would be if you were in a car.
Yes, and especially 2 areas to think about. If you're heading west when you're going through the mountains, you really need to pay attention to what the grades are going to be. Can your rig handle that? Because some people don't have setups that can handle those kind of grades. You're fine if you're traveling in Florida, but towing through the Rocky Mountains is a different ballgame altogether. The other is when you're in the Northeast and there are a lot of toll roads and there are a lot of low bridges. Those are 2 issues that you really need to look out for in those areas.
They both can be very expensive.
Yes,
The latter especially expensive if you try to bring your RV rig under a low bridge. Results can be disastrous.
Yes.
So, that's part of this list, is really helping you avoid those worst case scenarios and having some sort of accident. And I will point out, if you don't plan your route appropriately, you may find yourself getting worn down and tired. And when you're tired, you're more likely to make mistakes. Yeah. In our first cross-country RV trip, we agreed to meet some people in Yellowstone National Park, and we didn't really allow much time to travel between Missouri and northwest Wyoming. And that was a huge mistake because for like a day and a half or 2 days, we were totally stressed and really towing for too long and not enjoying the experience, which I think is the worst mistake of all.
And it makes it dangerous when you're in a hurry like that. It really does.
There are apps that you can get that will help you with route planning.
RV Trip Wizard is probably the best that's like RV specific. There are some truck driver kind of websites that you can check or GPSs that you can get. But I think, either having an RV GPS or checking RV Trip Wizard is probably your best bet.
And we do travel with a dedicated RV GPS. Even though, of course, we have GPS apps built into our phones, we use those as well. But we like to have a dedicated RV GPS because it includes, for example, specific RV routes. It will have dump stations and so forth illuminated on the map.
You can also put in your specific rig's like length and height so that it knows if you're going to exceed like the height to go under a bridge or if you're going to be on a road that you're too wide to be on, all those sorts of things, or a road that you're too long to be on. Because sometimes it's a hairpin turn that you won't be able to make if you're over 30 feet long, So those are things that you need to know when you're planning your trip.
So if you're interested in an RV GPS, we will put a link beneath this video to the specific unit that we own. All right, Mistake number 2 for beginners on your first RV trip.
Overpacking. We've all done it. You think, I might need this. I might need more than one of this. Ultimately, if you look at your route, you look at the climates that you're going to visit, you're going to need some hot weather gear. You're going to need maybe a jacket. You might need a raincoat. Basically, if you have one of each of those things, you're going to be okay because most RV campgrounds have laundry facilities. Don't forget, you can always wash your stuff. And there are stores everywhere. So if you really forget something really crucial, and I know you don't want to have to replace something expensive, but, if you just need a cheap extra pair of socks, you can go in any Walmart or Heck, even a lot of grocery stores will have, a section where you can buy a pair of socks. So don't overpack. Remember that you can wash clothes.
I think a common mistake, especially when you first get into the RV lifestyle, is to just load up your RV with everything you can think of from your house and just sort of treat it like a house on wheels. There are two major problems with that. First, there's just the consideration of weight. Like when you're loading up your RV with more stuff, you're adding more weight. That can throw off the balance of your RV, can throw off the handling of your RV and so forth. So that's a consideration. The second consideration really is just the enjoyment of the experience of being in that space. The RV space typically is going to be a lot smaller than a typical home space. When you pack more stuff in there, it feels more claustrophobic. You have less space to move around.
And you don't have any room to buy a souvenir if you want. If you want to grab a cool pillow from a store to go on your couch, or you want to buy a sweatshirt or whatever, you want to be able to throw those things in your closet and have room for it and not just be constantly fighting the stash of stuff that you've got poking out of every cabinet and corner.
And to be fair, even though we have been traveling with our RV rig for almost 2 decades now, not quite, but we're getting there.
Dating us.
We still fall into this trap, and we're still guilty of making this mistake. It's very hard not to, because it's so easy just to grab that extra coat, grab that extra sweater. But you will find enjoyment in simplicity. Bring everything you need and nothing that you don't.
Yeah. And usually we try to lay things out before we're packing them into the RV and kind of look at everything and then take things away. That's when you really can get honest with yourself and say, do I really need this? Probably not.
Mistake number 3 for RV beginners would be not understanding your RV's systems, the major systems of your RV, the electrical, the water, and the sewer.
I think the sewer is a big deal because I think a lot of people that are new to RVing, or people that traditionally only camp in full hookup campgrounds, and now you're going to go on some big trip, or you're going to be boondocking a lot, or you're going to be staying in national parks where there aren't sewer connections. They kind of think, oh, I can go, 7 days without, needing to empty my tanks. And then they get in and act like they do when they're in a full hookup campground. And then 2 days later, they're like, oh my God, our sewers, black tank is full. We've got to go to the dump station.
One of the first big lessons you will learn with RV travel is the importance of managing your water consumption and water usage.
We actually have a full video on that, so we'll put a link to that under this video as well.
And on that note, we do have a playlist for RV beginners on our channel. So if you go to our channel homepage, you will find a playlist with all of our RV videos targeted towards beginners. But the other issue with the sewer hookup, we've all heard the horror stories of people, having spill issues when they go to empty their water tanks. You want to avoid that. And so just make yourself comfortable and probably watch a bunch of videos beforehand before you tackle some of these tasks. The major thing to remember is don't get in a hurry.
Yeah.
Especially when you're doing something for the first time, it's very easy to feel a sense of pressure because you're at the dump station and maybe there are other people waiting to use it. And if you get in a hurry and rush, that's when mistakes happen.
Those mistakes will be much more memorable than if someone had to wait an extra 5 minutes at the dump station, trust me.
And the other issue with regard to your systems regarding electrical usage, I think it's very common the first time you start with RV travel to overload your RV's electrical system. Your RV is equipped with circuit breakers, and when you overload, those circuit breakers are going to trip and your power is going to go out. And I think everybody's been through that. So, you have to be much more careful about the load that you're placing on your RV's electrical system.
Yeah, don't try to do too many things at once. Don't run the microwave and your hairdryer at the same time.
And the air conditioner.
Right, that's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
So, even when you're plugged into 30 amp power, sometimes that can be a disaster.
But you'll figure that out because you'll be drying your hair and then everything will go dark. And you're like, what happened?
Mistake number 4 is skipping your pre-trip inspection. This is one that's really easy to do because you think, oh, I've maintained my RV through the year and things look good. We're good to go. Well, sometimes that's true and sometimes it's not. So make sure you've got a list of everything to check. Check and make sure your refrigerator works. Make sure your air conditioner is working. And I know it might be the middle of summer, but check to make sure that your heater is working because guess what? When you get up into those high elevation spots when you're out west and it drops down to 32 degrees at night in the middle of August, you're going to want to run your heater. And if you didn't check it before you left home, you might get the rude awakening that, hey, our furnace isn't working.
Yeah, we do advise certainly before you take a major, cross country or interstate type of trip that you do a shakedown cruise and check all of your systems, make sure everything's working. I'll never forget the summer that we took off to go to Alaska during a major heat wave in the summer, and our air conditioner failed right out of the gate.
Like 2 days in.
Yeah, 2 days in. And, we were camping with no air conditioning in literally 100-degree weather.
It was awful.
In Missouri.
Awful.
The memories.
Yes,
the fun.
Yes. The other thing you need to check are your tires, of course. We are the poster children of tire problems.
I'm famous for checking our tire pressures every morning. As soon as I roll out of bed, I just put on my bathrobe and go out and check tire pressures.
Your nose is like getting
I already
longer.
had a big nose at the beginning of this video. But the other pre-trip inspection to consider, and my wife is a stickler about this, your brake signals and your turn signals, especially if you have a towable RV. There have been many, many times. In fact, I would say it happens every time we go out on a trip, when you will connect the cable between your tow vehicle and your travel trailer or towable RV, and it's not getting a good connection.
There's like a little rock in there. There's a piece of, pine straw or something that's gotten wedged in there, and you're not getting a good connection. And yes, it worked the day before when you were connected, but it's just, it might not just have the right little nodules touching each other, and you don't have a turn signal all of a sudden, or you don't have brake lights.
Or you may not even have brakes. You won't have your trailer brakes. If you don't have a good connection, that umbilical cord connection between your tow vehicle and your towable RV.
Yeah, so we check that. I get out back and have him do the brakes and both turn signals before we leave. Pretty much every time we've rehitched our rig.
In fact, there are a lot of RV clubs, for example, the Airstream RV Club, that insist on a pre-trip inspection.
Yeah, they actually
signals.
have like a person that stands there to watch everybody as they leave, and they make you test your brake lights.
It's like watching planes on a a Yeah. And they're out there with torches,
They're very serious about it, but it makes a big difference because if you don't have brake lights and turn signals, that could, cause a disastrous accident.
Yeah. If you don't have brakes, you might find that you want brakes, especially out in the Rocky Mountains. Right. All right. Mistake number 5 for beginners going on your first RV trip is not being prepared for emergencies. Emergencies happen, and they have happened so many times for us over the years.
We've had some really terrible emergencies over the years. We've had some minor emergencies over the years.
We've had broken bones. We've had ear infections. We've had
family members pass away.
Yeah.
I mean, the worst of the worst. We have experienced it all.
So the point is, things are going to happen. And I don't want to dwell on this point because I don't want you to be fearful. You need to be excited about the adventure ahead.
Sure.
One of our viewers once told me a great expression, and that's, when things go wrong, the adventure begins. Some things are going to go wrong. Like something's going to break. You're going to make a mistake. Most things are not going to be major. They're not going to be catastrophic. They're going to be just small problems and issues that you have to take care of. So preparing for those in advance makes a lot of sense. Having some kind of roadside assistance.
Have more than one kind of roadside assistance. I know it's sad to have to say that, but we have it through our insurance carrier, and then we also have AAA. The reason being is that in different parts of the country, they sort of have different areas where different places have more coverage than others. And I know that doesn't make any sense, but we've encountered it more than one time. And so that's why we have more than one.
Have a little extra money in your bank account.
Definitely have an emergency fund, because if you don't have an emergency fund, that is when problems will happen. And, it can make or break your trip for sure.
Also, most importantly, pack your sense of humor.
Yes.
When something goes wrong, you have to learn to roll with the punches. And we've had so many crazy things happen over the years. In fact, We will do a video in the future. I think this will be a great video. Watch for this. It'll be a list of all the things that have gone wrong for us over the years.
We actually did one specifically about our Alaska trip a few years back.
Yes. And the Alaska trip alone was incredible as an example because we had so many things go wrong. And yet I look back on it as my favorite.
One of our best trips ever.
Best trip ever. It was certainly the most ambitious, but we had more problems that one year than we would have maybe in multiple years combined.
Absolutely.
But I mean, we've had problems like getting stuck in a snowstorm while towing through Yellowstone.
Yeah.
You know, but it ended up, you know, we were camping at Grant Village by ourselves.
It was a very unique experience that we'll probably never experience ever again in our lives.
It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Even if we wanted to, it probably would never happen again.
I mean, we've had some famous truck problems, which are never a whole lot of fun. But, you know, I guess my point is you have to roll with the punches when you're out there. Expect some things to go wrong. Don't let it ruin your trip, and don't even let it ruin your day if you can help it.
And don't let it ruin your relationships either. I think you have to keep that in check. You know, you're on the same team with the people you're traveling with, whether it's a friend, a spouse, a family member, whatever. And everybody's got to work together to accomplish whatever goal you're trying to get to, whether it's solving a broken down tire or, you know, a heater going out or hitting something on the road and causing damage, whatever it may be. You know, nobody makes mistakes on purpose. Everything is, you know, fixable. People are irreplaceable, and you got to remember that.
As the saying goes, if it doesn't kill you, it just makes you stronger. Hopefully. Quite often when things go wrong, the adventure does begin, and those experiences make for the best travel stories and travel tales. So just keep that in mind, you know, when it's happening to you. Maintain your sense of humor and think about the big picture, the big perspective. One day you will look back on that experience and laugh.
Yeah. With regards to the being prepared for emergencies, I would say have a contact at home that kind of knows where you're going and when you plan to be there, and maybe just check in with them with like a text message, whether it's a friend or a, you know, family member of some sort, just so that if you don't show up to where you're supposed to be, somebody notices. You know, sadly, people do have accidents. They do have bad things happen and don't make it to where they're supposed to go. And if somebody doesn't miss you, then people don't know to look for you. So I would just say that nobody likes to think about those things, but, you know, it is helpful to have somebody that knows where you're supposed to be.
Sorry, guys, there you have it. 5 massive mistakes often made by RV beginners on their first trip. We hope this video has been helpful to you. As we previously mentioned, we have certainly made all of these mistakes and many more, and we have learned it's helpful to share mistakes with you guys in the hopes that you don't make at least the same mistakes that we have made. If you can add to this list with some helpful information for our community, please chime in, post a comment beneath this video. We welcome your comments. Well, most of your comments.
Kind, courteous, respectful comments are always welcome. You know, and not that we expect every comment to be rave reviews, but, you know, if you're going to give criticism, be kind about it. You know, we are real people. We do have feelings, surprisingly. After all these years on the internet.
My feelings have been beaten down so many times over the years. I don't know. I'll say we do our best here, and you have to look at the entire body of work. We've been creating videos on Long Long Honeymoon for more than 17 years now, and it's a large body of work. So, you know, if you like one video more than another, it's kind of like your favorite rock band. The Beatles had a lot of wonderful songs, but they had a couple of clunkers too.
Right. Not everything's going to be a #1 hit, you know?
Anyway, that's it, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in. If you're new to our channel, please subscribe. We appreciate our subscribers so much.
Very much. Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing many of you out there on the road this year. We have almost everything buttoned down, and we will be out there on the highways of America in the very near future.
Soon. If you enjoyed this video, like you said, please hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends and family, leave us a comment, give us a thumbs up, all the things that help us in the world of the algorithm, whatever it may be this week, because Lord knows it changes on the regular. But we hope to see you with our next video. And until then, what do we say? We say,
Aloha. And get out there.
Yes.
Get out there, guys. Have fun. Be fearless. Be prepared.